Hey, ladies, how are you? When I'm gonna call my twin, and I just want to let y'all know, be toxic for the rest of your 20s. You only get one life. Live your toxic 20s. You never get to be 20 years old, 21, 22, 23, 24, none of that ever again in your life. Be toxic, because don't get in your 30s thinking you could just go slashing tires and doing all this crazy. Too old for that now. You too mature. Be toxic for the rest of your 20s. And if you delusional, turn this shit watch. Enjoy the rest of your 20s. You only get to do this one time.
This is what happens when they are free. They run into a brick wall at 100 miles per hour. They need to be kept. It's just they don't think they need to be kept. Even though if they really step outside their body and look at what's happening, they gonna see a disaster. They don't want to admit, I am doing nothing but running in a circle of life. I'm just running in a circle. I'm not going nowhere. If you don't have a man leading you, you're going to walk off the cliff.
What?
It's proof.
What cliff? I know. What cliff? Oh my God.
Darlene seems to forget who she used to be connected with and how she used to look. But most women can't afford to take the advice from GloRilla and mess up their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Darlene doesn't understand that she is indirectly co-signing people like GloRilla with her bad behavior. If the previous generations isn't calling out the bad behavior from the younger new generations, like GloRilla and women like her, then this generation is lost.
I don't care how submissive you get. A woman is not going to keep you. You are on borrowed time with 99% of the women in America. You're on borrowed time with her.
Right.
This is going to run out like a subscription to newspaper or something.
Right.
After a while, you're going to play out to her, and you got to jump on her to keep her.
You could have been anything in the world when you woke up this morning. But you woke up and decided to be dumb about a motherfucking man.
Greetings, you polite savages, and welcome to another Tip Talk.
The rapper GloRilla, hailing from Memphis, Tennessee, 24 years old, 2022 Grammy Best Rap nominee. I gotta keep it a buck, I don't really listen to her music, not a hater. She came to prominence and came on my radar because she was telling young ladies to be toxic in your 20s. Toxic in your 20s. Now let's think about this. How is a 20-year-old gonna give advice to fellow 20-year-olds? You wouldn't listen to this person except she happens to have some type of celebrity and you believe that perhaps she figured it out. But in fact, in your 20s, you should be listening to people in their 30s or their 40s. In your 30s, you should be listening to people in their 40s and their 50s. You see, a 20-year-old hasn't figured out something. And the advice she gave was absolutely asinine. Be toxic in your 20s. As if all of a sudden when you turn 30 years old, you're going to figure out that being toxic isn't the way. And of course, your toxic nature, nobody have known about it. No, nobody's going to know that you're toxic and that you're crazy and that you keep cars and that you talk an enormous amount of crap and that you can't go nowhere. We can't take you in public because you're going to act crazy. So all of those people that you think might want to take you serious in your 30s, guess what, lady? They're going to avoid you. You see, in your 20s, you think you can always get to people. In the first part of your 30s, it might be true. You might be able to get that attention you want. But as soon as you get mid-30s, you find out that the attention that you think was guaranteed, in fact, had an extended warranty, and you are at the end of it. That's right, baby. Your shelf life has expired. So now, in your 20s and late 30s, you find yourself approaching your 40s. And in your 40s, you look back at your 20s and realize that toxic behavior, you probably screwed off a lot of good people who wanted to deal with you. Because ain't nobody dealing with you now. I mean, look at your life now. What do you got? A couple of baby daddies, a couple of kids, a couple of bad decisions, some baggage. Nobody's trying to deal with you now.
Look at how the children are being raised.
Right, and what about the dad? So you trying?
The dad don't with these single moms like that.
Okay.
So why are we talking about what about the dad? The dad, if the dad was who he was supposed to be, he'll be right there with you. But in most situations, the women in the United States breed a baby and talk crazy about the dad.
So
most of the women are in a situation where they bred a baby. with a dude who got a bitch.
And the dude just off scot-free. He didn't. He's not out there knocking women up. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Dudes are gonna knock women up.
Where's the accountability for the man?
And I do believe men have accountability, but women have to understand this. If you are in the cave where you know there's wolves in there, what the do you think is going to happen? You don't know how to hunt somebody who's about something, so you blame the man for doing what he's going to naturally do. The wolf is going to eat. He's going to do it every time. And you can be like, look at them old wolves for doing what they do. No, I'm saying like women need to understand you walked into the lion's den.
And if I did, I'm not going to complain about it. I'll walk out of that lion's den.
Correct.
Yeah,
like, you know what? Oops, my bad. I didn't know this was a lion's den.
Ouch.
Like, I laugh so hard when women be like, I didn't see that. I didn't know that. I didn't woo. That's why you need your mother man, because you don't know what the you're doing in the world. You don't know what you're doing.
It is what it is. Like, nobody wants to deal with somebody with that much baggage, especially if they got a history of being toxic. And let's just face it, being submissive, over-delivering in submission, that's not going to be you. So you're not going to be able to overcome your reputation. And the world is full of examples of women that you know is toxic. And how do you know a toxic woman? Because nobody can get along with them. Nobody can get along with Holly Berry. Holly Berry been married 4 or 5 times, black and white men. She can't get along with nobody. Nobody can get along with Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu went to Common. Erykah Badu went to the DOC. Erykah Badu went to J Electronica. Single. Nobody can get along with Tracee Ellis Ross because Tracee Ellis Ross, what did she do? She placed a premium on her career and got to the point because she thought she had it until she didn't have it, and now look at her. She's a beautiful lady. She working with something. Everybody know that they would do something with Tracee Ellis Ross, but she ain't got that ring, she ain't got that husband, she ain't got that family, and she's coming to grips with it. There's millions of women like this. And I bet you all of them thought it was okay to be toxic in their 20s. GloRilla, stop giving advice. Do the people who follow you a favor.
And you're right.
Most women are putting trash into the community. The kids ain't shit. The kids are wild, untamed mother. Little sluts and little boys. That's all they putting into the community. But because they found a way to get some money, they'll say, I'm a boss. I'll be like, you just trashed up the whole community. The community ain't because out your doors walks trash. And nobody thinks like that.
Right.
Everybody just be like, oh, she a boss. Do you know how many bitches I know who are doing well financially, but her kids are the whole world?
So where are the men's responsibility? You always talk about what women not doing.
Right.
What about the men?
It is your job as a woman to go out here and find a stud who is going to hold you down and lead you and guide you. I didn't finish. You see, I didn't finish, but go ahead. I want you to get it off.
Sorry.
No, I want you to get it off because I got the answer. Your job as a woman is to find the king. Your job as a woman is to find the man you can hold up in the air, bring around anybody and say, this is my man and he holds all this down.
But a woman's going to neglect her responsibilities to find that king. Women are going to be listening to women like GloRilla, the celebrities. This whole women's empowerment is actually toxic femininity in disguise. This toxic feminine behavior, whether it manifests its most toxic traits or in subtle toxicity, the results, the philosophy, and the behavior is still the same. What this shows you between GloRilla, Darlene, and any modern woman, men are good for utility, meaning depending on her goals and objectives, it's just your turn.
My toxic trait is that I date just like a man does. I have no interest in something serious right now because that sounds exhausting. So I keep a random string of equally toxic boys around to mess with when I'm bored. But I know exactly what I'm looking for long term. So I'll probably just wake up at 30-something someday and decide it's time to get married.
And right there, ladies and gentlemen, toxic behavior is manifesting at a rapid rate, propagating in more than one community, programming and uploading bad behavior in these modern women. You can even see it as you're scrolling down through the comment section on this girl's post. These ladies really think they have all the time in the world, waiting for a beta simp orbiter to take her off the market when she's in her 30s and her 40s, and even in the 50s. Running up the body count, spoiling all her experiences with other men, holding out hope, waiting in the trap like a tarantula for a willing and unaware man to take her off the market without even knowing her dating history.
You ever meet somebody and wonder why they're single? Cut to a week later, you find out why they're single. Rinse and repeat. That's basically dating in your 40s. We all single for a reason, guys.
So what is being shown with this woman in her 40s is that bad behavior knows no age. That programming is deeply embedded, where by this point, the red flags are flying high. Unfortunately, some women's future will be like this.
I'm 46 years old, and while I'm getting ready for surgery and everything, it dawned on me that I'm 46 years old and I don't have a husband to take care of me. Being single and 46 sucks. It just sucks. And I make jokes about buffoons that I have been encountering in dating, but in reality, this is my reality.
Coming to the sudden realization and crying her eyes out that all the men she wasted in her 20s because of her toxic behavior, and even her 30s, now she's coming to the grips of how many men she wasted, leaving a trail of bodies behind, metaphorically and figuratively. The real question is she even able to pair bond anymore? Or are these just crocodile tears, feeling sorry for herself? Because by this age, personally for me, there may just be too many issues to deal with. That's why guys are getting their passports and expanding their dating options. And the thing that really gets women upset,
there's so many daughters growing up that are born to be dropped off.
What do you mean?
Born to be dropped off?
What does that mean?
Pull up in front of their house and be like, well, I had a good time. See your kids looking out the window. Hey, she coming up now. You know, too many girls like this. Even if we don't get the one we want, we gonna get one.
And the one thing that really gets women upset is when these guys make enough money and gain enough power and influence that they start to date younger and better looking.
I have never lost a good woman. All of the women that I was able to be with, I knew I was gonna get them. As soon as I saw them, I was like, this is an alley-oop right now.
It's an alley-oop.
I see the struggle in them. That's what I chase strugglers.
All right, Corey Holcomb.
So basically, you polite savages, we have the quadfecta of toxic unaccountability starter pack. Sexy Red, Sukiana, GloRilla, and of course, Ice Spice. We've covered them all here on the Tip Network. So a lot of folks want to say that, oh, you're just picking on these poor little innocent ladies. They're just out there making a living. But here is the top, middle, and bottom line. If you are going to take the responsibility to tell someone to be toxic, then you must be willing to take the responsibility and the pushback that comes with it.
I'm not going to be with a woman I don't respect. And most of the women I sleep with are not respecting me.
Corey,
I get them because I got money.
That means you don't respect
I got
yourself.
money.
We have one more break.
That's all I got for you, you polite savages. Like and subscribe. Hit us up on all social media networks. Any suggestions for things that you want us to cover, drop it on the gram, THPP Network, especially from our members. Our TipTube membership is very affordable. It's like a cup of coffee. And as always, ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip? We're out.
We found true happiness